Hi everyone, and welcome to the All Things ITSM Global Podcast, coming to you from Knowledge 16 in Las Vegas. I'm Kirsty McGowan. I'm here with Ken Gonzalez. Hi, Ken.
Kirsty, pleasure to see you.
Charlie Betts. Hi, Charlie.
Kirsty.
And it's our pleasure to welcome back Eveline Oehrlichof from Forrester. Welcome, Eveline. Lovely to have you back again.
Likewise, thank you.
So you're always bringing great stuff to us around ITSM, and I understand you've been doing some thinking lately around its application at the enterprise level. I was wondering if you might say something about that.
Yeah, so interesting. I think there's an incredible interest in many enterprises to automate a variety of services, but I think the business is not, many of the business partners, be it marketing, sales, even in the HR, they're skeptical to IT to do something like this. I think that's what I find from my clients, that there is interest, but they're skeptical. Can they do that? Because the track record of the IT organization, unfortunately, hasn't been that great.
Yeah, that's putting it mildly, I think, in a lot of cases.
Well, they might be skeptical. Is that about the opportunity that it represents, or the capability that IT doesn't have? Because now we've got some great tool sets available where we can build things that are non-IT specific and provide value to the business.
I think it's both, and I think what needs to happen is that IT organizations need to start thinking about small or agile projects which they can do. So things which are possible. Don't take on the world hunger when we try to start figuring out what is a particular use case and how in an agile way can they do that. And in some cases partnering with the PMO or even the application development team, right? So for me, as I sit in the infrastructure and operations role, who are the service delivery people who I serve, who are my clients, many of them struggle with, they're saying, well, we want to do business enablement, we want to do workforce enablement, but we can't reorganize the entire thing, and they don't necessarily step up to that small project and show value.
Yeah, so
if they would do that, I think there would be a lot more.
So if they start small and prove their worth and value to the organisation, then those bigger projects will fall into place.
And I think with it, measuring the value of it, right? Showing what it takes to automate and shift somebody out of it. And there's another challenge with that. If you automate, you lose people, and you might lose span of control, and you might not be as important anymore. So we're seeing a lot of CIOs and VPs of infrastructure and operations, and Charlie, I know we've talked about this in many conversations. We're seeing these folks being threatened. They're saying, hey, you're automating me away. In some cases, that's true, but at the same time, there is shifting happening, right? There is, you can right shift or you can left shift.
Right.
Left shift to the tools and automation, so self-service portals, application stores, which makes perfect sense. At the same time, you can take a system administrator who does really not fun work. Don't tell me that it's fun. We both have done it. You could take that person and make it an automation engineer who is much more value to the business.
Yeah, and it's a more challenging role. It's it's something that's hopefully going to be a lot more interesting than the same old system admin work that they've been doing for years.
Exactly.
It's, I guess, changing that mindset and making understanding that there is a future. Even if your current job is automated, there is still another area of value that you can provide to the organisation.
Well, as I recall, that was critical to lean transformation at Toyota. They realized that if people thought they were just working themselves out of a job, they wouldn't partner on the lean transformation. It's one of the things you have to provide some assurance that you'll be taken care of. Otherwise, you just won't get there. People won't cooperate, and for good reason. I think the idea of the smaller teams, working on more focused value, very important one, very topical in the industry nowadays. One of the shifts that is being discussed in a lot of places is the shift from project management to product management. The idea that you have a more persistent team with a variety of specialists on it, rather than having your big specialized silos that are kind of, you get a project manager to crack the whip and coordinate the work across infrastructure and development and security. You have everybody you need on this small, I think Amazon uses the term pizza team. We've always heard that. My joke is in Minnesota, when it's 30 below, we need at least 3 pizzas.
Yeah.
But, so what are you seeing, the conversation starting up around a more product-centric approaches in the I&O space?
Yeah, we actually have done some research, and a colleague of mine, Amy DiMartine, she wrote a paper around integrated product teams who are responsible for the delivery of a particular product. And it's usually driven in conjunction with a variety of people from the customer experience team, so somebody who's actually in charge of the customer experience consuming a product, be it a flight we all take or a car we all buy or whatever, a food, a meal, right? Somebody from the AD&D team, somebody from enterprise architecture, because there is architectural, there is somebody from infrastructure, somebody from operations, and they're creating this integrated product team, applying a variety of different methodologies, mix of agile, there's there's some scrumming, there's DevOps journeys, all of those things, and those seem to be very successful and very attractive, and getting attention in many of the large enterprises, but also starting out relatively small and confined.
Yes.
Coca-Cola is doing it, Bank of America is doing it, GE is doing it, Boeing is doing it, but they're relatively confined, and then they're starting to extend and grow. Or there is multiple of them, which then, as these integrated product teams, is almost like they're silos. Again, so my worry is that we're now creating, we don't have the silos in the towers anymore. We now have
the product silos.
Hopefully we can make it so that there is still a coordination and collaboration amongst those.
Yeah, and I think that just to follow up that boundary, and this is something I teach in my class, there's a boundary between the team collaboration problem versus the team of teams problem. In fact, Team of Teams is a great book by a gentleman, McChrystal, where they explore this. But I don't think we have really figured out as an industry how to solve that team of teams problem. We know that if you put a lot of processes in, then the product teams experience so much friction that they don't get anything done. Yeah. But on the other hand, if you're running an enterprise, you need people to be on the same page at certain critical points, and there are concepts of synchronization and cadence that I think are helpful. They kind of take some of the religion out of it as we just talk about what is it we're trying to do. But at the end of the day, I mean, if you've got changes that have the potential of impacting 30 different teams, you need some mechanism to communicate that and to get a mutual risk assessment. And to just throw that out the window out of hand seems a bit extreme.
Yeah, and we're seeing a lot of demand for new tools to collaborate. Lots of finally, hallelujah, knowledge management. Finally, knowledge management is coming back as something which is the new thing, the new kid on the block.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
We've been talking about it for a long time, but it was just always very difficult because there wasn't. It's easy to say we're going to implement knowledge management, right? But it has to be something we four are passionate and content-wise and context-wise associated with, and the same is true for collaboration. And again, just as Frank said this morning in his keynote, it has to have a relationship to me. It has to be personalized to me so that I can be productive and I can be predictive, which reduces my pain. So I talk a lot about the 4 Ps, allowing us to do collaboration and knowledge so that we can reduce the pain, become more productive, become more predictive, and be a lot more personalized. So that's the next iteration of the new modern way of working so that we don't have these silos.
Yeah, that knowledge is going to spread across all those different groups. And you're right. How did it suddenly become flavour of the month? Hasn't it always been?
For us, it has.
Yeah, has it always been the linchpin of everything? If you don't have good quality knowledge that's shared in a way that everyone can access it easily and understand it, then I just don't know how you provide services.
But it was too big, and it was too wide, and it was too deep. Now we have to have it. It is around a particular project and about a particular content or context or state or stage or task. Then I think it makes a lot more sense.
You need to bring it into the right context and present it in different ways depending on what that context actually is.
And actually, I would argue it has to be, and I think that's something business teams and technology management teams have to learn. it has to be driven by somebody who is the consumer,
Yes.
the customer.
Yes.
So for example, if I am, Southwest, whatever airline I'm flying, and I have a problem because the pilot doesn't come on board and something else is happening, and then I go out to the customer service organization and I try to reorganize, and she doesn't know that what flight I'm at. All of that needs to be associated around that flight and around my experience.
Right.
I'm having a bad experience, and I'm
Right.
using this example because all of us travel all the time.
Yeah.
I'm having a bad experience, and in this experience of me, Eveline, I'd like the people who I interact with have the knowledge and the details about what my interaction was, and then improve it. And that's where I
That's
need to,
right.
Right,
Yes.
that's where collaboration and knowledge help us to move towards the
Yeah.
customer experience and an obsession about the customer. I want them to be obsessed
Yeah.
about me.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and I mean, the airline case, they need to know that you travel every week or every day, that this isn't a one-off for you, so that they are dealing with you in the right context.
Exactly.
That they're dealing with you as someone who understands
Yeah.
what travel's all about.
Yeah, and I have
Yeah.
to be here, and I
Yes.
have to be there,
Yeah.
and et cetera,
Yeah.
et cetera. I'm not going on a holiday.
No,
right?
that's right. Yeah, that
I mean,
context
almo-
is so important.
It almost seems to me like you're, in a roundabout way, making the case for the importance of the platform as a mechanism for being able to help facilitate those interactions and points of engagement, not only with the customer, but with those that actually serve the customer directly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think you have to have, I call it stitching, which is not
Yeah.
a very good technology term, but
Yeah.
you have to have it connected, and that platform allows you to go from the different perspectives of who I am. It doesn't matter if I'm a customer service agent or if I'm an infrastructure person or if I am a marketing or a salesperson. The connection of that is through the platform, is through the knowledge, is through the data of the context all around either Charlie or me.
Yeah.
So I become the object
Yes.
which drives all the interactions.
Excellent.
And do you find that with the way that people are buying into platforms and using them, that having invested to get themselves up and running on certain pieces and now being able to leverage that in other areas, is that a key factor in people's decisions on whether to move forward, or is it still, hey, we want what we want because we know it's closely tailored to what's in our area?
It is a difficult question to answer, Ken, because there are multiple maturity levels of customers, as you know. However, right now I'm saying that there's dinosaurs and unicorns, and there's the different kinds of animals, whatever
In
you want to
between.
call them, in between. So at the unicorn level, yes, absolutely, they see that. At the dinosaur level, they're still having some challenges, but the unicorns are becoming very attractive because they look pretty, and so they're drawing the attention of the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Great.
Okay.
Well, thank you, Eveline. As always, it's been a great pleasure chatting to you.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time.
Thanks.